You're watching 1700 on Channel 31. You're here with Maria, Frazer and Sarah. So we're going to go into our interview time. Woo!
Yes!
So we're here with Tess Guthrie, who's a singer-songwriter based in Melbourne. Hello there.
Hello. How's it going?
So we're just going to go and ask you a few questions. So we were talking before we started this interview about just one-on-one kind of thing. We were talking about the fact that you're even pitching to like Innovation Week and you're doing like all this amazing stuff, not just doing all this like singing and like creative stuff. And I just wanted to like ask you, like, how did you like get into singing, but how did you get into like everything that you're doing? Because you're doing so much.
Yes.
Oh, that's really nice. So I studied pure maths for a good couple of years there, and I think after that I was really interested in how to try and leverage that to help social impact projects, and so I started a company called Y-Hive that is essentially a tech startup that looks at how to use data analytics for social enterprise work. So yeah, anyway, I guess I like the flexibility of that because it means I can do stuff like go on tour like I'm about to in like next week and keep sending emails from the back of pubs. So yeah, it's a good time.
Nice, amazing. But I don't want to lose sight of the fact that you're here for your music and your performance and that sort of thing. But one thing that kind of struck me when reading a bit more about you was sort of the rise of political themes in your music. So I sort of just want to know how that came about. And I saw somewhere in these articles I was reading vegan feminist vibes. So I'm like, let's tell us about that. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I think probably after I got to uni and started getting exposed to feminism a bit more and started thinking about issues like consent and intersectionality and just kind of learning more from my mates who are doing gender studies. I started to think about the intersection of how music can help to support causes like that, and just got really passionate about some of my friends' experiences and my own experience, and I wanted to write about the stuff that matters to me, which is really a lot about that. So, yeah.
And you took 5 years off your music to study maths at Monash. Can you tell us a bit about how you made that decision and why you've gone back to music?
Yeah, I think originally I think I really took that time off because I wasn't clear about the kind of music that I wanted to be making, and I wasn't clear about the kind of direction that I wanted to take things in, and so I suppose I had to try and decide that for myself, and I was also getting a bit more passionate about maths and philosophy, which is kind of where I ended up at that time. But it was kind of a funny time. I had to break it to my parents that I wasn't going to do music anymore and that I was going to go study maths and philosophy instead. I feel like it usually goes the other way. It's like, Mum and Dad, I want to go be a musician, but like at that point in my life it was like, guys, I'm really sorry, I want to go study maths.
Wow.
During this time, did you always know you wanted to continue doing music either way?
Oh man, I don't know. I think I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with music. Like I know that it's always been like a really important part of how I process just the world. And so I think without it and without songwriting I would have been pretty screwed. So I think I always was kind of writing in my room and playing guitar and stuff, but nowhere near as intensely as I was after I graduated last year and kind of got back into it. But I think it was kind of hibernating there in the background for that time, but I kind of wasn't ready within myself to let that back into the forefront of my life, and then I was, and now I'm doing this. But yeah.
Great.
Do you ever feel like you want to combine like your two passions, like want to make like mathematical songs and be like, mathematical?
Oh man, I did this really really nerdy thing one time where I realised that if you put pi into like you can put pi into different bases and stuff, like it's usually in base 10, but you can put it into base 12 and have it map onto like a chromatic kind of scale, and then you can like play it like an instrument, which is possibly the nerdiest thing I've ever done. It sounded awful, by the way, just in case you're wondering, never do it. But yeah, I don't think that's a good way to combine shit. I think that's what you do when you're bored. But I think possibly the more interesting combination of those things for me is more that kind of political aspect that we were talking before, and about like how you can write songs about the stuff that matters to you, but you can also work in the kind of fields that matter to you most. And I think that kind of intersection is what really matters to me. But, yeah.
Right. Cool. Well, we'll have a bit more of Tess Guthrie after this short break. Catch us then. You're on SYN 1700.